What's going on, guys? My name is Mitchrobs here, and today we're going to be talking about ventures, so stick around, and it'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to be talking my thoughts on this season of ventures, and I have a special guest here, Alchemist Lion. Say hi, Lion.
No.
So, Lion is a buddy of mine who plays with me a lot. He has his own YouTube channel. I'll let him shout that out in a minute, but basically it's been us duoing ventures this entire season. It's been one of my more enjoyable venture seasons. So Lion, who are you? And what kind of content do you make? What's your channel? Let me know that real quick.
Alchemist Lion, and I mean, channel is the name, Alchemist Lion, and basically I just make hero loadouts, do some endurance videos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he makes a lot of challengey type endurance content. He's a retard, but we love him. He makes a lot of really stupid stuff work, so go check him out. A lot of different ideas that I wouldn't ever really think to do. He does it, like floating twines, floating canny, only floor and wall trap type of stuff. Just some weirdo stuff, but it's really cool to see. But so we're going to be talking about ventures today in this current Scurvy Shoals season. So what is ventures? I kind of have to get that out there for those of you guys that don't know it, because I can't assume that you guys just generally know everything about this game or know about all the game modes. So ventures, it's a seasonal event where you start at power level 1. So basically you're starting over from scratch. None of your survivor bonuses count towards it. You can't craft your own weapons. You can buy weapons on the vending machines, but that's about it. But as you level up, you gain Ventures XP, and you level up to level 50, and your power level increases as you go through there. Now, there's a bunch of little special modifiers for each season, but this season, we have Super Husks. Now, I don't know about you, Lion, but when I first heard Super Husks in the modifiers when they first came out, I internally screamed because it sounded awful. What were your thoughts when, like, that first came out?
I was excited. I have to say, I was actually excited about the possibility of some tougher husks. I don't know. I find sometimes you get complacent in what you're doing, so I don't know. I was kind of geared up for it. I was trying to figure out what loadouts would work, and that was how I was viewing it.
Yeah, because that was right around the time they made the jailing changes, and if you guys don't know, like, I'm a big fan of any type of play in this game, right? As long as it's not too exploity, but I like doing jail builds, I like doing damage builds, I like doing a bunch of different things, but the recent crowd control changes, and I'll have a video up for that. I don't know if it'll be out by the time I have this video up, because I'm still working on it, of course, and editing's always fun, doing voice work's fun, but I've always loved different gameplay styles, so when this Ventures was coming out, it was kind of like, ugh, we're doing this and the traps are nerfed type of thing, but I've actually had really a lot of fun with it. So let's explain the modifiers real quick. So we have our super melee. So that's like takers, like all the husks that beat your ass, they move faster. They just walk faster. So like takers zipping like Usain Bolt, flying like a hawk. They hit you and you slow down, so you walk slower. So you're basically just, I don't know, you just pray to them. But also they're not going to give you not any benefit. There was a stun effect. If you kill one of them, it stuns all the other husks around it for 1.5 seconds, which is pretty cool. And we'll get to that later, but that's actually not the worst thing in the world. The super ranged. So projectiles are thrown quicker from like flingers, lobbers, stuff like that. And they throw farther. Blasters and gunslingers shoot twice when they shoot. So it gets a little bit more damage in there. But yeah, they have less health though, so that's always a plus. The super tough monsters, so like big huskies, smashers, they have increased resistance to your attacks from weapons and traps, but also deal increased damage to your structures. So they're basically just like this big boss, but they move 30% slower. So those are the main modifiers, and then there's one more that's called Super Treasure, and these chests drop on elimination. They're really super good, and they give you like a weapon and a stack of loot each time, and that's kind of what balances out this venture season. So like, how did you feel about those modifiers?
Some of them I liked. I liked the slower smashers. The takers, I think, were the main issue. I was worried about the takers, and I was worried about all the projectiles, the blasters especially, because they're brutal.
They are really brutal. The takers and smashers, especially not smashers, takers and blasters. A 140 encampment mission. If multiple spawn blasters, you have to put a wall up immediately, or else you're just dead. That's how fast they shoot. Same with takers. Like they quite literally zip. They're like a peregrine falcon. If you've ever heard of that, it's like the fastest diving animal through the air. That's like what they are, dude. They shoot up and then it's like, oh crap, I gotta get out of here. So like I found that phase shifting away from them is really good. Trying to like phase shift into cover, or like getting into cover quick, or building a wall reactively, but that's not always possible. I've actually found it really annoying to kill smashers unless you have ability based weapons, and we'll go over some of our favorite loadouts that we used later on, because that's ventures right there, right? You're not always going to have a reliable weapon because you can't craft your own weapons. You have to get them out of vending machines. But all right, so the zone that we are in for Scurvy Shoals is Scurvy Shoals, which is basically just the tropical zone of our what's it called, of our ventures. So the tropical zones are literally the buggiest zones in the world. There's a lot of terrain issues. There's not a lot of metal around the map, so you can't make a lot of traps with nuts and bolts, mechanical parts. But I actually liked it. It's a fun change of pace, and there's a lot of water that you can do some cool things with that slows down the husks. Do you like Scurvy Shoals?
I like the look of it. I hate everything else about it. I mean, I don't know. It looks great. The terrain. It reminds me of Canny too much. I don't know. I don't like the terrain. The fact that the glitches, I find anytime there's glitches with something for a long time, it just kind of makes you not like it as much, and I find that just hangs overhead.
Yeah, and
hangs overhead for me.
There's stupid glitches in it, right? That I feel like the devs just kind of overlooked. Like, for example, you have a repair the shelter, right? You have to click on the computer of a repair the shelter to start it. Sometimes that'll be phased into the mountain and you quite literally can't start a mission, or sometimes an atlas will spawn in the mission. So things like that, those bugs are kind of bad when it comes to this kind of stuff. And that's kind of where one of our complaints are for this season. And what I gripe about is going through a mission, doing your ventures objectives, because there's challenges in ventures, like such as like kill yada yada miss monster and stuff like that, and then finding out your objective is bugged is just a big waste of time.
You build 2 radars and you go to that 3rd radar, and you go to the 4th radar, you go to the 5th radar, and they're all in a mountain, or they fixed the radar ones, but for the first few weeks or month or so, like half the radars weren't even buildable.
Yeah, and did you even notice there's no deliver the bomb this venture season? It's like they just couldn't figure out how to do that. Yeah, because I think what was it? It was the Halloween one. I forget what it was called, but there was quite literally no way to deliver the bomb. Sometimes you couldn't do it. Like there just B wouldn't show up. Sometimes it's like, wow, that's shitty. But yeah. So Scurvy Shoals has a lot of bugs, but it's a fun little change of pace, right? If I imagine like a twine zone, tropical area, I imagine that, but in like a little bit like a lava type area, that would work.
Oh yeah, I really want them to do a twine biome. I think twine deserves it.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely.
They should have had that a while ago.
Well, I mean, so you go over to Twine Storm Shields, right? And I don't think it should be as bleak as necessarily your Twine Storm Shield, but I do like the look of like the lava.
Good
now
mix.
They have it now.
Yeah.
And I would like it more like a tropical zone, like there's a volcano on the map type of deal. I think that would be sick. You know,
kind of like the BR one.
Yeah,
the
like
old BR one.
How they had that volcano there. Like the flying aspect, they could bring in gliders from BR and stuff like that. But this is a little bit off topic. But like I see, like, you can do really,
gliders potential.
I think you could do really cool things like that with like a twine zone. But we know it's not going to happen. The devs aren't. Well, I don't know if the devs are working on it or not. I can't even make those claims. But I do know the devs are mainly in like maintenance mode with this game because they've stated that in home-based status reports. But all right. So your thoughts on these modifiers, right?
Pictures.
Did you think they were annoying or challenging? Or it did.
Blasters. Like the blasters verified and a bit annoying. But I find it's one of those things that kind of you need that little bit of a grind on you to like enjoy yourself. If it's all easy going, gets boring and you don't want to play it. And that's kind of what Ventures is. It's a shake up to kind of get you playing again. And I don't know, I think it does its job very well. When I see the challenges, I might grind about them, but I like overcoming them.
Yeah, no, I feel, I don't know, I kind of like, as soon as it came out, I really, really did not like the idea of these challenges, of these Ventures ones, because last season, because I've played a lot this season, right? I think I'm level 49 right now, about to hit level 50, so I'm literally about to finish it. We've done 140 zones and stuff like that. I've finished all the challenges. I didn't even touch Last Ventures. I took a good bit of a break from this game, like playing missions constantly and stuff like that, because I was trying to like find my schedule, right? I started a new job. I started having to manage my time a little bit better. So I didn't do Last Ventures, and honestly, this has been a really good Ventures season. It's been way more fun than any regular mission. It's a little bit harder, and I think the Husky Husks and the Smashers being a little bit healthier, while it kind of sucks that their bullet sponges, have added a nice little challenge to it. I also really like the stun mechanic from the Husks. What?
The stun mechanic. Oh no, I just to say, like, I found Last Ventures, it was even a little dull because you were supercharged and like they weren't, and I don't know. It was a little.
No, I don't even think that was Last Venture season, was it?
Is it? Oh,
that was 2 ago.
What was Last Venture?
I don't even remember the modifiers. That's the thing. Because I think it was the Christmas one was the supercharged one. Because I remember that one we breezed through. Like I genuinely, like, 2 week stops. I threw down Teddy, and that's about it for the
threw down. Yeah, I know. I don't even, man, that just shows, like, I don't know, there's some of the challenges, if they're not challenging or if they don't, like, come at it at a different angle, it just, I don't know, they fall kind of to the wayside.
And that's kind of where
I know it wasn't as enjoyable.
Ventures falls flat a little bit. If they're not adding anything substantially game-changing to it, it's just the same old boring missions again, right? I love this game. This game's a really fun game. But at this point in my Save the World career, doing missions is kind of a chore to me. I enjoy inventing new trap tunnels and doing stuff like that, but unless I'm like actively trying to discover that, it's just throw up the same type of little tunnel. You can, the same kind of fight. All the husk type of pathing is kind of predictable. Stuff like that. I don't really jail build all too much anymore, but you can just do that and you can get an easy win. Like a sound wall jail build, super good and stuff like that. But that's also one thing that I wanted to mention from this. I didn't jail this entire Ventures. And I don't know if once, maybe once or twice.
I think we did once. I think that was it.
Yeah, but I didn't feel a need to. That's the thing.
No.
I think it was well balanced enough to where fighting was pretty balanced. The one thing about this, though, Ventures, that prevented me a little bit from jail building is that the Huskies did increase damage to your walls. So if you have wall weakening or something, and you have a Husky beating on it, even if they're dancing, they're going to do a significant amount of damage because they're doing double the damage. And a Riot Husky is doing 10 times the damage of a regular Husk. So 20 times the damage of a regular Husk in one hit from a Riot Husk. So jailing's not really as optimal in this little Venture season. So I tried to stay away from it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I know Lion doesn't really like jailing all too much. Right, buddy?
No, man. I knew some people were doing it, but yeah, I don't know. I use endurance for that. If I'm not going to be playing, I'd rather just go and do an endurance because it's a 2.5 hour spread where you're not having to do much. But a mission, you're always kind of half paying attention, and I don't know.
Well, so this brings up another thing, and I know this is completely way off topic, but like, so I think jailing's really important for resource grinding. Me and Lion are way past that point, right? Even like stuff like the 160 missions each week for a supercharger. I think jail builds are great for that, right? Because nobody wants to actually fucking do those missions. Like,
no, that's what
they're a waste of resources, right? But even then, I don't even want to do those missions anyway. Because I did a calculation, and I assume like every mission's it's going to take like 20 minutes to complete, just on average. You're doing that 10 times a week. Time too. Yeah, so you're doing 200 minutes a week times 52, right? It ends up being around 7 days of just straight playing for those superchargers. 7 days worth of gaming. Hell no, dude. I'm not sitting there in jail building for that much time, and I don't want to damage build it because I'm wasting a lot of resources. So I don't even do the 160 mission for the superchargers anymore. I know Lion might do it, but I just have chosen not to at this point.
Are kind of stopped now. It's more just letting Ventures do it. No, just letting Ventures kind of take its path on making it increase. Once I got my full loadout, like I have 6 heroes done, and then I got, I think it's 4 weapons and 3 traps, I'm good. Like unless it was like something really changed in the game that make me want to go back and do those. Yeah, I don't know. You can move them around a bit if you really wanted to. So
yeah, and you mentioned heroes, right? That's the key one. Is why the fuck is it always a hero supercharger? I would do it so much more if it was a trap supercharger. Genuinely, that's like okay. So I have 2 that I really care about. I care about hero supercharger and I care about the survivor superchargers. Maybe a weapon supercharger too, because I still have aspirations of doing MSK and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not actively doing it at the moment. But the weapon superchargers and I think the trap superchargers are the big ones, and you never get them from doing the weekly missions. So I don't ever really want to do that. And that's one of the positives about Ventures, is you're guaranteed those. If you're doing the challenges and you're leveling up Ventures, you're going to get those particular ones. So it's good to have those guaranteed rewards, I think. So that begs the one question. Do you think it's worth it to do Ventures to get those superchargers?
For the superchargers solely, it depends on how long you want to play after you kind of get it. Because once you're getting those that high level stuff, you're already beating the game. So if you're wanting to stick around and play a lot of the fun end game stuff, then totally Ventures is where you want to be. I find if you're just one of those players who are going to beat the game and then not stop, it might not be worthwhile your time. Focus on the main storyline. I find Ventures, the purpose of Ventures is more to keep people engaged. It's kind of, I don't know what war games should have been for endurance. It's a way to challenge yourself beyond the normal game, and that's why I like this modifier, because it really does that.
Well, because
it's worth it. It's definitely worth it for them if you're going to play longer, and it's really worth it to keep just interest in the game, to like try different things out.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned war games like that, right? One of the things about war games is it actually used to be worth it. Back when it first came out, it used to give a lot more tickets, a lot more resources, and you would actually find that people weren't playing public missions because they were doing war games. So they got their rewards really nerfed. So here's what I'm gonna say. I think Ventures is worth it to some extent. And if they were to nerf the rewards like they did with war games, you wouldn't find a soul in Ventures. Maybe you'd find like the couple people who were like, oh, it's fun if the husks are overpowered, but I think the majority of people are doing it for the rewards.
Some people for the leveling, just to say you got level 50, like it's like the battle pass style version of battle royale for us. But
and then you got the grinders, dude. So I have my roots on Twitch, and I lurk in a lot of people's streams. Even if they have like one viewer, I'll lurk there. I'll be that one viewer sometimes, and I'll just sit there and watch. And there's some people that are like top 10 on the Ventures leaderboard, like level 150, and it's like, bro, like, are you a masochist?
Like, what are you doing yourself?
I'm about to hit level 50, and it's like 6 weeks into this. Do you know how much time I've spent in this? Me and Lion play like, I'd say like every other day for about 2.5 hours. I'd say at this point, right?
Roughly about that.
Yeah. So how much time are you putting into that Ventures? Like, genuinely, that's a lot. And like, we're doing basically all the mission alerts, because that's the best way to level Ventures, is doing the mission alerts. Do you wish there was like a better way to level up in Ventures, like grinding out a specific mission, or do you like that they put all their investment into their alerts?
I think the alerts, it kind of focuses you to have to play certain levels. Like, I love encampments, and I'll pick them first, but if there's an encampment without a mission alert, or like that daily reward bonus, and there's one that's like a double atlas with a mission alert bonus, I'm going with that double atlas, because that's really how you can get all those like drops of rain, lightning in a bottle. Like, that's how you get that really fast, is by completing those. So I don't know. Like I find the mission alerts is awesome. Like I like that they make you have to kind of pick missions you might not want to get the better rewards to level up. Especially in public forum games, like you don't want people just all focusing on the easy mission. Like,
Yeah,
it's
because
nice to spread out the love.
for those of you guys that don't know, doing the mission alerts, you're getting 18,000 extra adventures experience when you're like at high twine, or not high twine, high ventures level. When a resupply gives you like 5,000 ventures XP for completing it. Those are terrible rewards. You would never catch me in a resupply outside of like the low level farming we do for the SSD builds and for ventures. You never catch me in there. Like we have a thing like if Lion puts me in a resupply mission, he has to play me in chest. That's because he hates to play me in chest, and I hate to do resupply missions. So I think
we haven't done it either right, since that bet.
Yeah. And I don't enjoy any of, like, there's some missions I just straight up don't enjoy. I really enjoy encampments. I really enjoy eliminate and collect. But some things like Cat 4, like, I'm just going to stay away from it. And that's where I think the hiding them behind missions alerts is a bad idea, because sometimes you can just get screwed over by RNG, and it's like, well, I don't really want to play Ventures all too much today.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So how did you adapt to this Ventures? Is there anything like specific that you picked up from this Ventures and the Ventures modifiers? Like anything you were like, wow, this is really good versus like before? Or do you think you've been doing the same old type of stuff?
I think is usually sometimes there's weapons and stuff that will kind of catch my eye. Like last season was the sniper, the dragon sniper.
Is that the one that like explodes after you shoot?
You scope down and like it like sends a dart almost through the air at them, and then it fireworks. Like it explodes, and then you can have the Roman candle afterwards. But I know there's always some like weapons or stuff, or like I find for me it's more just different heroes. Sometimes a weapon will catch my eye. I found this season because weapons were kind of nerfed. There wasn't really any weapon that really, if anything, I'm kind of frustrated that I'm kind of handcuffed to the weapons that they're giving me aside from the Xenon bow. But I mean the tiny instrument of death I've been using with my double Agent Evelyn build.
Oh,
for
and
the dual pistols.
Fun fact, Lion, every single time you use that, my frames drop to like a solid 10, so fuck you on that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But it's the only weapon.
Epic,
it's the only weapon I can work.
If any Epic devs ever watched my content, take note, the tiny instrument of death drops people's frames. I don't know what caused it to do that in the past like 6 months or so, but it makes everybody's frames just hit the floor. Maybe it's just the particle
effects. My frames are great. My frames are great.
Yeah, I mean, Lions might be, but mine sure aren't. So that's a thing. But so what were some of your favorite loadouts in this? All right. I know a couple that I loved in this.
I mean, for me, my go-to ended up becoming. I when I first read the whole thing, I was actually excited, as I said. I wanted to use Swamp Knight mainly because I've been waiting for adventures where Swamp Knight could really shine. But I find that I've gotten so used to his black metal weapons that unless I have them, it's not really working. So I swapped to Azalea Clark. She's still my go-to hero in almost everything in this Ventures. Between her and Going Constructor, the Director Riggs guy, they're my main two killers. I'll switch to Paleo Luna occasionally depending on the challenges, but yeah, those two, Azalea Clark and Director Riggs, they've been my main brutes.
Oh yeah, and I know you love Director Riggs when I box you in.
That's
always so much fun. But yeah, let's talk about the Azalea Clark class, because I quite literally never use it, but I get the benefit of it. So what Azalea Clark does is it 300% more damage, or what's the damage up of it? The shock tower?
Oh, I believe it's 100. It's just like 100 and something percent, 106%, I believe. I don't know the exact number exactly.
But basically, Azalea Clark's shock tower. So a shock tower is normally like a stun type of trap, or not trap, ability where you place stun and it sends out shockwaves that stun the husks. Hers is actually, it turns it into an explosive, so it sits there, charges up for a second, then goes boom. The added damage benefit you get from that is super huge, especially in this ventures where you can kind of one shot a lot of the husks and Nurse husks, and like the husky husk
It's a
too.
big area.
Yeah, in a pretty
And a
big
big area too.
So a happy.
So it just kind of vanquishes her.
Oh yeah, dude, and the Happy Holidays build with her has been super huge in like encampment missions. Now I'm not saying she's the best, but it's another fun playstyle that I know Lion really enjoys.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Well, and then
No,
explain
I
the
know
Director
there's
Riggs one too.
Well, Director Riggs, the main thing is basically because he increases the time frame. So with that and Happy Holidays, there's a 24-second cooldown with going Constructor. And my main thing is when I first tried going Constructor, it's a deadly, like it will kill a Smasher in 3 hits. There's a long cooldown. He just cuts it right down to a bare minimum. And when you put Happy Holidays in there, like 24 seconds, honestly, it's a 36-second attack. So most encampments will be gone by then. And if you have to cool down, 24 seconds isn't a whole lot of time or you have to kill. And there's Bull Rush and there's a few other things that he has. The decoy that you can use in between hand, and then you just pop it again and nothing touches you. Nothing touches you when you're going Constructor.
Well,
If you die going Constructor, you're doing something wrong, because anything you hit, like a Taker, Blaster, everything's basically one shot.
well, you also
it's insane.
I don't know if you utilize it enough, but there's also a shield mechanic for
The shield
for going Constructor.
going fast. I use it for mobility, because when you're going Constructor, just like kind of when you're doing the going Commando, you're a little slower walking, but the shield makes you walk faster. So I do that. But when blasters shoot, I'm slowly learning to pull it up now.
Well, yeah,
like,
so I
it's
could
been
see
a
like
bit of an adjustment, but.
Yeah, I could definitely see like a Taker dive bomber, like if a blaster's shooting at you, you hit that shield. But like it's so counterintuitive, you throwing up your shield makes you walk faster. But it's actually a super huge thing in that ability. And one of the topics that we've talked about a lot, just because we shit talk. Let's be real. When we're playing together, we shit talk a lot. So a lot of content creators think going Constructor is terrible. It's literally the worst in the game type ability, and I don't think that's necessarily the most accurate statement in the world. Sure, it's locked to physical and you can't really pick up items as you're going with it, but I mean, Lion's made it pretty deadly, and I think it's a lot better than a lot of abilities that people think.
Well, for the aggressive Constructor, it's probably the only one I would use. There's other cool ones that they have, but yeah, I mean, it's more deadly than anything I've seen. I'd even put going Constructor against Paleo Luna in like a melee contest. If you could just have going Constructor constantly, yeah, there's no touching it. It's overpowered, but in a good way.
So that's another thing. It's like, what are you looking at when you're doing Constructor? Like, usually it's base or bust for people, because look at Plasma Pulse. Plasma Pulse just straight up doesn't work. Like, it shoots out the balls and they don't actually explode or like do damage. That's another bug in the game, Epic. Sorry to put you on blast if you guys are listening, but you look at Rosie. Rosie does subpar damage at long ranges. You kind of have to have them up close, which that kind of defeats the purpose of having like a turret in the back of your base where you're shooting at them type of deal. And it's really weak against things such as shields and stuff like that. So you're not really getting that many good abilities out of it. And like even Bull Rush is really low damaging, even though it does have really good utility for like mini bosses and stuff. But let's go over some of my favorite loadouts for this. So Lion will tell you in basically 90% of the missions I run an infinite Teddy loadout. There's nothing else to say. Teddy is a god. Yeah. So you run Enforcer Grizzly with
Teddy.
Happy Holiday. Yeah, he hates Teddy because it takes his combat score. But same with Becky, but we're not going to get into her right now.
Bex.
Yeah, Bex is great. Guys, pick up a Sniper Defender if you don't have one. Especially with like an Obliterator in hand, they're just god tier. But yeah, the Infinite Teddy build, it makes the consistent damage it puts out, the amount of husks that hits, is super huge, right? And that's also really important because a lot of the time I'll get a bunch of finishing blows and get the little treasure chest. Oh, that's one of the things we didn't cover with Azalea Clark, right? And we mentioned this the other day, right? If you have Azalea Clark and you have that massive shock tower, it's when you get the finishing blow on a husk, that's when the treasure chest pops up. So you'll see Lion gets an absolute butt ton of them because that hero.
Yeah, I can't. Too much treasure. I have to get rid of guns every game.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's another fun bug. Apparently, if you have a full inventory in Ventures, sometimes it literally you can't go back in. Like it just like airs you out, so you're forced to empty out your inventory, which is I think is kind of funny. But so yeah, the Infinite Teddy loadout. If you guys don't know what an Infinite Teddy loadout is, you can just go look it up on YouTube. I'm sure someone has a video of it somewhere, but I just use kind of like Happy Holidays. There's one that makes charge fragments use 10% less energy or 10% less duration and stuff like that, and I just make a good loadout out of it. The other one I've been using a lot is I have a video on it for dungeons, but it's actually my dungeons solo speedrun loadout, and it's a minigun build with you use is it Shockwave? Is that what it's called? The ability, the soldier one.
Oh, is
it called Shockwave?
One more round? I don't know. No, it's not Shockwave. Like it's going Commander one more time or one more.
No. Shockwave's the one where like where you like it's an area of effect out from you and like it makes you run faster.
Yes. Shockwave. Yeah.
You use Archetype Havoc and you run faster with that, and you can do that with a 5-second minigun build. And you just shred everything. Minigun's so good, and it's really good if you're playing with like a squad too, right? Because you can take out the mini bosses so quick. It's actually ridiculous. That and then
no, you're using Havoc.
Yeah, well, I use her. Yeah, what do you think I do? Yeah, I use him to get around the map.
Nice. Okay.
I discovered my love of him when we were doing dungeon speedruns probably a year and a half ago. Just because I just saw the utility of it, and you fly around. I used that, and I found my love of a triple heavy attack efficiency Walloper. Uses like 7 energy, and you're just vroom, 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 doing the little heavy attack like a Guardian's Will all the time. I find that so much fun.
Reverting back to dungeons, because that triggered something in my head. I complain about the weapons all the time, that you don't get to bring your own weapons in and yada yada yada. But my complaints are basically just out of like I think being spoiled with having the weapons in regular missions. But I find this season I'm really appreciating the limitations of having to find weapons, and you're kind of limited and handcuffed to the roles that you find. That Walloper that you have is a prime example. That was a gold find. Like you were trying to explain the god rules thing to me, because I still didn't really fully get it. I just thought it was all legendary, but it's if the roles are perfect for the weapon.
Let me explain that to the people
that was
quick.
Perfect.
So a lot of people misuse the term god roll. So right, oh my god, my gun god roll, I have crit build on it and I re-perked it to it and added legendary perk up. So the whole thing about a god roll means that in that encounter the gun drops, or like from the mission rewards you get that gun, and it already has the perks that you want, and it has like higher up perks, right? So like all gold perks and the perks that you want, and you can't change that. That's a god roll. That means out of all of the rolls possible for that weapon, you got that single one. So it's like, holy shit, this is god tier. So that's what a god roll comes from. So I hate when people misuse it that way. Just say it's like legendary perked, or like it's perked the way you want it or something. Don't say god roll. But yeah, I mean that also pisses me off though, because I've gotten so many durability perks on my Xenon bows. Which brings up another thing is like weapon variety. Very bleak adventures. So there's about 3 weapons I use. There's a ground pounder, sick as fuck. If you guys haven't used the ground pounder shotgun, I put it for fire element to kill the chrome huskies, because they can only die to fire or water, and this ground pounder just nukes them. But I use that, a vacuum tube bow, and a xenon bow, and holy shit, the xenon bow's good, right? But the vacuum tube bow with Stoneheart Fair in particular, not even with anything else, but with Stoneheart Fair in particular, the lightning chains that come off of it chain to other things. So it's just literally, you can shoot into an encampment and it takes out every single husk. It's actually stupid broken. So that's another loadout. If you guys don't know Stoneheart Fair, what are you doing? She's literally the best hero in the game. highly recommend that
If you don't
conversation.
get her, yeah, if you don't have her now, I mean, she's not coming back for another time. I don't know. Use your voucher.
Yeah, use your weapon
voucher
voucher,
for her.
or not your weapon voucher, your hero voucher.
Use your voucher. Yeah.
So yeah, what were some of those weapons? I know you were talking about the what was it, tiny instrument?
Instrument of death.
Is that the only weapon?
To be honest, well, that's the only one that comes to mind because that's the one that I'm using the most right now. That's effective. To be honest, weapons, even on a good day, aren't in my repertoire very much. I'm mostly heavily suited for abilities. And I mean, this season, that's why I was kind of excited for this season, because it's all based off of abilities. So I don't put a lot of weight into what weapons I'm getting. I'm just kind of picking the highest level of the ones that are working. I mean, obviously, I work on the shotguns. Having the Xenon bow is, I mean, critical. I know we were talking about it earlier, but yeah, I don't know. I wish Xenon bow wasn't in here at one stage. I wish they almost were more limiting on the weapons, where you're only listed to like 2 certain weapon types. And then that changed, so there wasn't always a Xenon bow to rely on. But no, I was more on abilities. Yeah, I was more on abilities this season.
The only gripe I would have about not having a Xenon bow is, holy shit, the Xenon bow makes challenges so much easier, right? Killing fish rocks,
Yes.
killing like gnomes, just random stuff around the map. What you do is you set a direction, you go kind of with the terrain, you shoot there, you move about 2 degrees over, shoot there, and you do a full circle, and you can get pretty much your entirety of your challenges that are destroy things done in one little go around. That's how powerful the Xenon bow is.
You can do that with a neon, though. You can do that with a neon. You can do that with a ghost pistol. You can do that with the obliterator.
No, you can't. So what? So
you
here's
can do it with a ghost pistol. You can do it with a ghost pistol.
The ghost pistol has a really shitty range. If you didn't know that, like really bad range.
I didn't.
But no, because the Xenon bow actually it spreads out over time like a cone, right? Like a pyramidal cone. So you're getting that extra width of it. So, like that's what I've noticed at least. I don't know if that's necessarily the most accurate statement in the world, but that's what I think it does. So you're getting a lot more. What's the word for it?
Spread.
Yeah, spread out of it, and that's huge, I think. And that's why it's so good at getting these Ventures challenges done, because that's how I get the majority of them done. Once I literally search for a Xenon bow. Sometimes you go into a mission just to find a Xenon bow. Do it on private, because nobody likes people ditching missions in public. But sometimes you just gotta get it.
Yeah.
But that's one other thing in this. This Venture season, there's super treasures, and I went over it a little bit earlier, but husks drop a weapon a lot of the time, like a chest with a weapon and resources. Finding vending machine weapons and not having to worry about resources is so huge. I love the resourcing mechanic in this Ventures. I love it. I think it should be like this in normal game. Like, if you're killing stuff and you're doing the missions properly, you get all the stuff back and you have excess resources. So I really think after playing this Ventures, I really think they should rebalance the loot in just the regular game. I don't know how you feel about it, Lion, but I love it.
Not to the extent that I find this is just like I said, every mission I'm recycling like 30 to 40 weapons, and I've already had to get rid of stacks of things just to keep my inventory down. I found it was almost too much. Yes, it was really nice. Like, I love not needing Sunbeam. I don't like at a certain level you shouldn't really need to grind for that, especially like just hours trying to get materials to like make your stuff. So like I wish there was maybe even more into the like the trap materials too, but like incorporating more nuts and bolts and stuff, things like that to help out. But I think there needs to be maybe like a middle ground.
I think nuts and
if it was to
bolts
go
and
into the
vibra
normal.
serbs. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So I've fallen in love with gas traps recently, and Lion can tell you that. I think they're super useful because I've been doing the trapping series. I've been doing a lot of low level content, such as like storm shield defenses and stuff, and the gas trap is really, really reliable damage, heavy damage, and it completely outcompetes the ceiling electric field. Now, there's advantages to the ceiling electric field, and that's like the wide area of attack. It hits a lot of husks in a wide area. The multiple can hit at the same time, and like if it's too high, propane's not breaking it. But man, I've really loved the gas trap in this.
It's effective. It's really effective lately.
But if you're using more than 2 in a mission, good luck keeping up with fiber serbs, right? I think they're five reserves each. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But going around and searching 10 plants, some of them have like a 50% drop rate, so more like 20 plants is pretty tedious each mission just for 2 gas traps. So I wish there was more 5 reserves this season. That's all I'm saying with the resources. But I really like the resource state in this. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's very nice not having to like constantly be searching. Like anytime we do a trap mission, I feel like I'm not scraping to try to like make it work. It has been very nice. I know that especially in ventures that could be an issue sometimes, but I love like the chests are awesome. If it was ever into like a main game mechanic, it would definitely, I'd want it to be a bit more subtle. Maybe not so much weapons.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Well, you fill up on weapons so quick this venture season. It's actually ridiculous. But let's go over some of the things we did like from this, because I know we've been covering it a little bit. I think the main points I want to like say for what I liked this season, because there's been a lot of bitching from us, and there's been a really lot of positive things that we said. But those chests I mentioned, I really love those. I really love the stun on the husks from the killing melee husks. It makes trap tunnels god tier. Holy shit. If you have a gas trap at the beginning of a tunnel, all those little husklings that die like immediately send out a 1.5 second stun. So it's just constantly proccing and they get stuck there. So if you have a little bit of recycling there, you're just constantly killing everything and nothing gets into your tunnels. So I think it makes damage tunnels really a lot easier, and that's what balances it out a little bit for me. And Lion didn't even notice the stun until I mentioned it.
No, I didn't even notice. I know it was there, but yeah, I didn't notice. I killed him too fast.
It's stupid. Yeah, but then again, like I don't see really a big need to farm this season, which is huge.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Farming sucks. The fact that like I can go do an encampment to fill up my nuts and bolts and batteries and stuff that I'm lacking in, and we're pretty Gucci there. And yeah, I think just the big things were like, I didn't mind the modifiers. Now, I'm saying this post-nerf, because there was a point where lobbers threw 3 lobber skulls at a time and they would one-shot your objective. That's a bad mechanic, and they patched that out pretty fucking quickly. But for about 2 weeks there, it was pretty AIDS. But outside that, I think it's been a really well-balanced season. I enjoyed it. You have any closing thoughts on this season?
Well, I think in general, I think Ventures needs to be a challenge. I think that if they make it so that we're just easy streeting it, it's not fun. I like these things. I wish they would do more of these, like almost war games type scenario where we're kind of restricted and it's harder. Like almost like you were talking about with that, like 1-up one time when you said that would be a really good thing for long game players, is to kind of make it or almost that Mario scenario where every time you beat it, it gets a little tougher. I would love Ventures to be kind of that for this game, and I think it would be really awesome, which you've also suggested, is that they do something with an endurance in this realm where you have that also to play on. So once you reach level 50 and there's no superchargers, or maybe even with some extra lure of rewards, doing an endurance in this setting, like supercharged husks, like an endurance where they're powered, that would be awesome. I think they need to work more with that. It would be so awesme. Like I don't know. I find
not everywhere. Like quite literally, like my channel would become a porn channel from it. I'm probably gonna get demonetized from saying that, and I'll probably be bleeped out. But quite literally, like imagine like every 10 weeks we get a new endurance zone. We can have fun building. It may be not as intense as our current endurances, like a twine endurance, because those are pretty beefy and they take a lot of time testing. But
a mini endurance, like 15 waves or 20 waves,
like a candy endurance. That'd be so much fun. Yeah, like good terrain, like not overly powered husks. You have to use the stuff you get in ventures. I think that'd be so much fun, like genuinely. And I think it'd be like a teamwork based thing, and it'd be like a race for everybody to try to get up there and complete it, because it wouldn't just be about, all right, let's carry our Ventures XP over, because there's a lot of exploits in this game, right? I know a lot of people who are level 45 in this Ventures as soon as it hit, because they saved up Ventures XP from the last time. I don't know how they do that, to be honest with you, but I know people can do that. So it wouldn't be necessarily about racing like that. It would be more so about like who can come up with the best build for this zone, or the build that's going to be functional enough for them to pass it first, and like maybe like a cool banner to show it off. I just think that's some of the things that I think Epic could think about, and it'd be a lot of fun doing.
Oh yeah, I like Ventures. Ventures fun.
I think even if they rotated it, right? Like say, like I think they're on like a rotation of 5 Venture zones a year. Even if they rotated like an endurance, like you made one for the tropical zone, you made one like for the desert one. Even though we have Candy Valley, I think for a desert ventures one. So I really think those are something that I would look forward to, and would make me want to play ventures a hell of a lot more.
Oh yeah, way more.
But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed that. We're just shooting shit, having fun, talking about ventures, because I don't put out much ventures content. I stream it sometimes at my Twitch channel. If you guys haven't followed that, the link's in the description. I barely stream, but I've been doing ventures on there some, and I just haven't hated this ventures, which is saying a lot because I normally do. So I wanted to talk about it and share my opinions with you guys. If you've made it this far in the video, it's been 45 minutes. Kudos to you. We've been talking your asses off, and it's kind of like a podcast at this point, but go check out Lion's content. He just spent 45 minutes talking with me about bullshit. So go follow him. His link's in the description. He makes endurance content, makes all that kind of stuff. As well as follow me if you're not following already. Like if you made it this far in the video, you're gonna hit the subscribe button right now and the like button. Comment down below your thoughts on Ventures though, because frankly, I want to hear you guys' opinion. Did you actually like this one? Did you just do it for the resources? Did you absolutely hate it and loathe Ventures? Just let me know in the comments. So thank you guys so much for watching. Or I guess listening, because there's just going to be background gameplay. But thank you guys so much. Peace.